Hello and welcome to Odds Serie A match day for 𝐿𝐴 d'Italia. We had last weekend with a late winner for Juventus. Juventus is a thriller actually this season, Leo, and this week we have another derby della Capitale in this case.
Absolutely, Edu. And who said last show that no, it's not going to happen another 4-4 like in San Siro? I didn't see that one coming. In this case, it was almost a 3-3, but 𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐜 had the goal of his life. Probably if we had him shooting on goal for the rest of the week, he won't score the same goal he scored in the 95th minutes against Inter, but what a way to win a Derby d'Italia. Then midweek, another 4 goals, in this case to draw 4-4 with Dortmund. So they're pushing the boundaries. Happy so far for 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲's players and supporters, but I don't know how sustainable it is in the future to keep scoring 4 but conceding almost the same amount. So we will see.
I would blame Jan Sommer a little bit also for this goal.
Yes.
And actually it's happy to see this kind of Juventus. We are not used to see thriller and entertaining Juventus. Hopefully it's like that the whole season. So guys, stay with us. A lot to comment, a lot to talk about in our Serie A show. As always, we only ask you to press the like and subscribe to our channel. And now let's go on with the show. Well, the first game, Leo, is not a thriller. I don't expect a thriller. It's Lecce, Cagliari. Lecce, 1 point, bottom of the table, smashed by Atalanta for 1, lost to Milan. The only point was against Genoa, and Cagliari got the first win of the season against Parma, 2-0, and actually they are better than Lecce because we saw it against Napoli. They were really competitive. They were very close to get a point from the Maradona.
Yes, and I don't know why, at least so far, the book is pointing to a draw here, which is actually probably because it's the most common result between the sides. In the last 22 head-to-head, we had 9 draws between Lecce and Cagliari. But there are footballing reasons to believe that Cagliari can get away with 3 points from Via del Mare, and the goods are good on Cagliari at 2.7. As you mentioned, they're at the back of the first win against a direct rival like Parma, but second win of the season overall for Cagliari. They were clinical, I would say, more than good against Parma, Edu. Because Elia Caprile, the Sardinian's goalkeeper, who is on the watch of Milan to replace maybe next summer 𝐿𝐴𝐧𝐽, he had an amazing double save after only 8-9 minutes of play, denying Marco Pellegrino, and then on the follow-up he also denied Patrick Cutrone, which was even more remarkable, that save. Even before Yerry Mina's goal, Cutrone had another chance, so the game could have taken a different route. But after the goal, Cagliari started to dominate, and they grew slowly into the game. There was a first start for Andrea Belotti. We mentioned his arrival last show. It was a header actually from Belotti that led to the Colombian center-back goal. And in the second half, even before Cagliari scored the second one, Parma had again a good chance. They hit the crossbar. But after Cagliari scored the 2-0, that was a game over for Cagliari. And as for Lecce, you mentioned, Edu, yes, 1 point, 1 goal scored, 6 conceded so far. They managed to compete in the first half against Atalanta, going into the break trailing only 1-0. But after that second one, there was no more fight coming from them. My take in here, Edu, is a combined one. I don't expect a thriller, but I expect Cagliari to have an upper hand. So it's a Cagliari double chance combined with goals under 2.5. These two together, odds of 2.25.
I'm surprised to see also Lecce favorite here, but actually the odds are shifting from when I checked. Now it's basically the same. All the outcomes, 1-2, and before, Leo, yesterday was 2.7, Lecce to win, and Cagliari 3.
Oh, yeah.
So the bookies know that there is value on Cagliari. And next game, Bologna-Genoa. This one also I don't expect a thriller. Genoa only 1 goal scored in this Serie A, and all the goals, all the games are under, and Bologna is kind of the same. Only 1 goal scored. All the games were 1-0. It's been a poor start, I would say, for Bologna. Also, the schedule was difficult,
Yes,
we must say. But Leo, looks like a 1-0 goalless draw, something like this.
Yes, we could be heading to that, and actually, well, my tip is not expecting goals here in this Bologna-Genoa. Bologna, Edu, I agree, they are not gelling yet this season. After what we have seen from Vincenzo Italiano's men in the last Serie A, when they won, or the last season when they won the Coppa Italia, they were fighting for European spots till the end. But look, at the same time, they won their first game last season on match day 5. After 4 games, they had 3 points last Serie A season. So with a win on Saturday against Genoa, they could double what they had at the same stage last season. They would need, yes, more ideas in attack if they are to collect the 3 points. In San Siro, they had 61% possession, Bologna, but never looked threatening. 𝐜𝐵𝗿𝗀 returned from injury, but I was surprised that when he came on, he did it for Riccardo Solini, which is Bologna's best player. Santi Castro is not scoring. Well, not even scoring. It's not just that he's not scoring. He's not even having chances to score. 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀 has done little so far, and we will see if we will see at some point or not Juventus 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗀. It tells you a lot about Italiano's frustration with his attacking line, that 4 of the 5 substitutions he made on Sunday were all his forward line. 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗀, Fabiano, Orsolini, and Castro. They have the ball, and you are waiting for them to change the pace, to move the ball quicker, but that never happens, and that is something that the last season they did very, very well. I was thinking at one point, okay, put at least the ball into the box, but we couldn't even see crosses in San Siro. If Milan, being Milan and playing at home, gave the ball away, you can imagine what Genoa will do playing away from home. So we will see if this time they're going to find more answers against the low block. Genoa winless after 3 games. They rescue at least that point in the late in the leg. You could tell that the goal was coming anyway, not because they were great and pushing for the equalizer, but 𝐿𝐵𝗿𝗍 was dropping, and after they were reduced to 10 men, that was the time. Ekuban already matched his goal scoring tally from last season, 1 goal. Last season it took him 18 games to score, now just 3, so that is an improvement. Bologna favorite here, yes, but I'm not going 𝑋1 or 𝑋2. I'm not expecting a thriller here either. That's why my take is both teams to score, no. Odds of 1.67.
Good one. Bologna, remember, they are playing Europa League and they are traveling to Birmingham to playing at Villa Park. 2 teams that have not started the season properly, and both are looking for goals. This is gonna happen next week. We have Europa League with Bologna, and this week we had Champions League. We had Juventus. I guess the people going to the Juventus stadium, Leo, are happy paying his membership this season. Seeing plenty of goals. It was incredible how they got a draw against Dortmund. People were leaving the stadium already in the 93rd minute. It was gone. But I think we have to give credit, one of them, of course, to 𝗵𝗿𝗍𝗀, the man of the match. No questions asked when he came into the pitch. Juventus were better. He was spot on in the goals. And of course, still remembering the great win against Inter. This Juventus has a perfect record in Serie A, but still, Leo, they are far from being perfect, this team. I think probably they are getting better results than what they expected or what we can expect during the season.
Yes, for sure, Edu. And when a game finishes 4-3 and 3 days later the same team draws 4-4, it's because things are not perfect at all. But at least they're entertaining, or at least it's good to watch a Juventus game. I mean, this same stage last season, we were getting used to with Thiago Motta for draws, goalless draws, or small margins winning to nil. Those living at the with 3-4 minutes to go for a game to finish. What's the point? What are gonna be thinking those who were leaving and with Juventus trailing 4-2 and the game finished 4-4? What's the point? I mean, it happened. I remember as well with Manchester United, Lyon. Remember in the Europa League last season. It's just I will never understand those supporters, to be honest. Fair play to Tudor, Edu, because 𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐜, who played only his 10th game for Juventus in the Derby d'Italia, he was meant to leave in the summer, but it was Tudor who asked the directors not to sell him or even to send him on loan somewhere else, because Sassuolo, Genoa, or Palermo in Serie B wanted him. Tudor for sure had his managerial night of his life so far. He talked of after the game of his team defeating the best team in Serie A. He said that Inter has a better squad than Napoli. I think he was trying as well to lift as well himself with those words. And he said that Juventus was not at their best yet, that there is still a lot of room for improvement. It's all, of course, early stages still. But I think one of the best takes for Juventus in the Derby d'Italia, and probably as well against Dortmund, is that they did not dominate the match, but they managed still to create a lot of chances to score, and that's a good sign, I would say. And I think the win against Inter could have the potential to make sure that Juventus at least aim for the title. There is, I mean, because the aim in the Champions League will be, yes, if to make it at least into the playoff, but no one's going to be thinking of Juventus making it into the last four of the competition, into the semifinals. So that's why the priority must be the Scudetto fight for Igor Tudor Juventus. There was a big decision in the starting lineup in the Derby d'Italia. 𝗵𝗏𝗏, the number 9, and Jonathan David coming only in the 79th minute of the game. With Dortmund was Jonathan David's turn with 𝐿𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐜, but behind, not 𝗵𝗏𝗏, but Openda. 𝗵𝗏𝗏 anyway came on the second half and was, as you said, the man of the match. With Verona, we will see who starts the game. Verona, that is winless and at the back of a goalless draw with Cremonese at home. Last season, Inter won 5-0 away in Verona. Juventus won 3-0 there. Monza even won 4-1 away there in Verona. So my take, Juventus to win plus goals over 1.5. These two together odds of 2.3.
Let's see if they are able to challenge for the Scudetto. Odds are 6. Napoli are super favorites, 2.2. Also, Alain, great follower of Serie A, was telling us in our Champions League video that he also sees contest men as big favorites or winners. Far away also, Milan, favorites number 4 in this case, but well, after losing the first game of the season, a shocker against Cremonese, they are winning decent game against Bologna. They were much better. They had many chances in the negatives. In the positives, also Modric, of course, scoring his first Serie A goal. In the negatives, Leo, Santi Jimenez, he's looking so clumsy. He missed so many good chances. And be careful with this game. Udinese, 7 points, great start, and they know what is beating a Milan team this season. Remember, they took San Siro.
Yes, it's true, but I'm starting to see things finally improving in Milan. Yes, of course, the debut at home with Cremonese was far from the best. It came with a defeat. But yes, probably, I don't know, they played another 9 games and Milan will rescue something from that kind of match as with Cremonese. With Lecce was good, and with Bologna was even better. Yes, the margin of the scoreline was just 1-0. Luka Modric, wow, just days after turning 40. 40s are the new 20s for him. It's like the time has stopped when you look at Luka Modric playing. The definition of intelligent player, that is Luka Modric. And we know, of course, football, as many sports, is an industry at some point obsessed with stats, that likes to measure every action in a sport which is sometimes, of course, unpredictable. But in football, Luka Modric is a definition that the fact that it doesn't matter what the GPS sometimes might be telling you, because who cares if he runs less than A, B, or C? At the end of the day, he's the fastest player in the pitch, Luka Modric. His decision making is what makes the difference. It's a real joy to watch him play. And he scored a very crucial goal because it was the goal to win a game against Bologna, the fifth player in Serie A history to score a goal after his 40th birthday, the Croat. And in the second half, even if Bologna still had more of the ball than Milan, the Rossonero had a lot of chances to score. I agree. We will see. Maybe the goal is going to open up for Santi Gimenez. So far, it's been far from a good start of the season. And 𝐿𝐭𝐵𝐾𝐿 came on in the 85th minute, I think, and he even had a penalty call, which was then overturned by the VAR. So I wouldn't be surprised if 𝐿𝐭𝐵𝐾𝐿 starts ahead of Santi Gimenez now going into Udine. Of course, Allegri, he's still choosing a little bit more conservative players when you look at midfield. Fofana, Rabiot, who we talk about him last show, and he made his debut and he played the 90 minutes. I'm still waiting to see Samuel Ricci, to be honest, in that starting lineup for Milan, because he had, as a defensive player, was a pivot. He is someone who can connect lines. He did so well for Torino, and we will see if at some point he gets a place in Allegri's team. You mentioned Milan being the fourth favorite, Edu, this season. Well, that would be perfect, because it would mean that at least if they keep that fourth candidate, or they turn being the fourth candidate into a fourth spot for the Champions League, that is what they need. And Allegri spoke of Champions League at all costs as the objective for Milan this season. I agree, Udinese enjoying a very good start of the season, 7 out of 9 for them. Last season there was a Rossonero thrashing. I don't expect that. Those 4-0 margins, I don't see them repeating again in Udine, but I'm still going for 𝐿𝐿, Edu. My take here, Milan to win 1.85.
Well, for Milan, it's crucial to qualify for the Champions League. Also for Roma, if they want to grow, if they want to improve their project, they must qualify for the Champions League, and then it gives us the chance to talk about the Derby d'Italia, Lazio-Roma, one of the hottest games in Serie A. As I said, it's very important for Roma qualifying for the Champions League some years later, but it's not the way if they play like they did against Torino. I punished myself, Leo, watching that game, and it was very poor. It was horrible for Roma, so slow, so clumsy with the ball, no ideas. Perhaps it's because 𝗵𝗵𝗏 couldn't play the second half, and Gasperini promised good football, and so far 2 goals scored in 3 games. For Roma, we've only seen 3 goals in their games. Lazio is also a bit concerned in the way they started the season with defeats against Como and Sassuolo, teams that they should get points from. And we are used to see tense derbies, red cards, not a lot of goals. Normally are low-scoring games, these derbies, Leo, and no wins for Lazio also in the last 4.
Yes, and this one is going to be an early Derby de la Capitale, so it's going to be a good, very good plan for Sunday morning. And actually, it's a great Sunday overall in sports. Lazio-Roma, you have the Formula 1 Grand Prix, there is an Arsenal-Manchester City, and then late in the evening you have, if you want, Boca Juniors playing as well to watch on Sunday. But yes, Lazio-Roma both coming from losses. It's big one, this derby. I agree with what you said about the Roma's game with Torino, and actually when the game was 0-0, if Roma was to win, it was going to win 2-0. There was no other way. And scoring only 1. But I think Gasperini took it wrong from the start, Edu. It was one step backward, yes, but he got it wrong with Torino. To see Dybala as a false nine was not a great idea. I'm not saying this now with the perspective of the defeat. You could tell it straight away when the sheets came out, with the team sheets. Dybala playing with his back to the goal, with Maripano or Ismaili always behind him, without runners from midfield, it was never a great idea. Ivan Ferguson, to have that fight was a more orthodox but necessary way, as we saw in the end in the second half, but only because Dybala, is a shame he got a tight injury. He's out of the derby on Sunday. It's just the old same old story for Dybala with the injuries.
Yeah. What a
it's
player
telling that
we
guys.
are missing.
Yes. No. It's just absolute shame, Edu. And in what I think in 1 week or 10 days, national teams need to give their squads for the October break, and probably he won't make it because he got injured again. And otherwise, he was returning slowly but well into in the season, and now he's out again. It's just, I don't know. It's an absolute shame. It's telling that Gasperini did not use 𝗀𝗵𝗍𝗀 at all. But the problem, I think, is not up front. Edu, the biggest handicap of this team is the midfield. You have Manu Kone, defensive midfielder by design, being asked to dribble forward, to act almost as a creative midfielder. Let me tell you something. Well, he's not. And Sule needs more help. The team needs a little bit more spark in attack. Maybe when Leon Bailey is fit, he could do that. You need players who like 1v1 battles when you have teams like Torino in front, which defend very deep. This is an opportunity anyway for Roma. If I'm taking off a flat midfield at times in 𝐵𝗲𝗏𝗏, what you say about Lazio, the back of their defeat with Sassuolo. Sarri is saying that to prepare this derby is emotionally exhausting for him, the most difficult match of his career, that he hopes his players understand that a game of this caliber is nothing about points or the table. A defeat on Sunday could put immediate pressure, I would say, on Sarri. There is a problem of selection as well for him against the Neroverdi. Nicolo Rovella and Tati Castellanos got injured. Maybe a door will open for Pedro to start the derby. The odds both ways are good. The defeat with Torino changed things for Roma. Otherwise, I think we would have seen the 𝐻2 on a lower range. We need to go back to 2021 to find the derby with goals over 2.5. I think at this moment, Gasperini and Sarri will both take a draw. You don't want to lose your first derby in the case of Gasperini, and for Sarri will allow him to breathe a little bit more. Goals under 2.5 is around 1.67, 1.65, but I'm taking the draw here, Edu. My take here for the Derby della Capitale is a draw at 3.3.
You were not very optimistic about Sarri's second spell with Lazio, and it looks like that indeed. If we check the goals market here, we have to go for an under 2.25 goals. Is only 1.9. Under 2 goals is 2.2 because the bookies, obviously, they don't expect goals. Both teams to score. No is 1.91, which could be also a good option here. We don't expect a thriller. Cremonese Parma is the next one. Cremonese, the surprise of this start of the season, 7 points, still undefeated. Davide Nicola, the hero, drew away with Verona, direct rival, and beat Sassuolo and Milan in the first games.
Yep.
The opposite for Parma, only 1 point, the one they got against Atalanta.
Yes, absolutely the opposite for Parma, Edu. I mean, not because we thought that they will arrive to Matchday 4 with 6 or 7 points, but 1 point represents a bit of a concern for Carlos Cuesta's side. In Italy, there are many questioning the decision of appointing someone with no previous experience, but I think that Parma has been unlucky too as well. With Cagliari, they did everything to score and fail in front of the goal. With the game 0-0, then they fail again with Cagliari being up 1-0. They missed the equalizer, and then with the 2-0 was done. So to be honest, Cuesta is suffering. Actually, if you look at him 6 months ago, he looked younger. It's incredible what the pressure at the highest level could do on managers. What is clear to me is that he needs Patrick Cutrone and Oristanio behind Pellegrino to be more threatening in attack. He did it in the second half in Sardinia, and it worked. For Cremonese on Monday, we had finally coming in the second half the Jamie Vardy's debut, which was the best beat for Cremonese actually against Verona. It's not a coincidence that the team improved in the second half when Franco Vázquez, Jeremy Sarmiento, and Bardi came on. 𝐬𝐵𝐿, Cremonese's goalkeeper, was the man of the match, and most of his work was required in the first half. So I think was promising to see Vázquez and Sarmiento behind Bardi, and probably now playing at home and against Parma, a direct rival. Why not Davide Nicola push his boundaries a little bit more, and we see them all starting. But still, 7 out of 9 is a great start of the season for Cremonese. High odds either way, but my take, both teams to score yes, 1.95.
Next one, Torino, Atalanta. Atalanta didn't compete in the Champions League against PSG. No surprise there. But at least they got the first win of the season against Lecce. All the games, Leo, all 3 games, both teams to score actually. For Atalanta, yep, which is strange. In Serie A, and Torino, first win also of the season against Roma, as we spoke before. And what a goal scored by Simeone. He wanted more minutes when he was playing in Napoli. And if you do this kind of goals, you are going to have more minutes, that's for sure.
Yeah, he was not doing or playing very well in the previous games. And I was actually talking a lot. Again?
Do you like Simeone?
Simeone, I'm not a big fan of him. Yes, that's for sure. Although Giuliano is just, if you need someone to run the line, yes, he's the man. But don't ask him many other things, to be honest. But it was a great goal, absolutely. And I was saying that in the previous shows, I was saying that probably was the time now for Che Adams to start. So I was surprised to see Simeone still in the starting lineup at the Olimpico. But then, well, he scored a beautiful goal, and now how you take him out of the game with Atalanta. Was the first win under Marco Baroni for Torino. I won't say it was smash and grab at the Olimpico, but certainly Baroni, since that heavy defeat in San Siro in the debut, is prioritizing to play closer to his own goal and trying to run when possible. Against Roma, he set up his team thinking what he had in front. He left his preferred 4-3-3 and moved to 3 at the back with the idea of containing Sule and 𝐷𝗵𝗏. There was more order and cohesion from Torino. They maintained right distance between lines. I told you before how difficult it was for Roma to find spaces. That's half of the job done. He will need his team now to find a little bit more courage at some point. I have been mentioning the option of Che Adams. Why not so to start him alongside then Giovanni Simeone? Duvan Zapata was an unused substitute, and for sure he will have some minutes against his former club. The Colombian to score anytime against Atalanta is at 2.75 if he gets some minutes. Atalanta enjoying the first win of the 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 era. What happened in Paris, we all expected. They were trashed 4-0 against PSG, but there's no harm, I would say, in that defeat. There's still no signs of Ademola Lookman on the matchday squad. Atalanta, the favorite here for the bookies. But when you think of Torino at home, or at least myself, I tend to believe in a draw. No goal scoring feast. It could be both teams to score yes, but the low scoring both teams to score yes, probably a 1-1. My take here anyway, Edu, is goals under 2.5, odds of 1.7.
Fiorentina, also Fiorentina, really poor start this season, still winless. 2 points, defeat with Napoli, ugly defeat actually. They didn't compete in that game, and drew with Torino and Cagliari. Como kind of the opposite although they only could draw against Genoa, but 4 points is not bad. And what a goal scored by 𝐻𝐿𝐴 again, Leo. Whoa.
Amazing goal, to be honest, Edu, from 𝐻𝐿𝐴. People in Argentina were talking more about, to be honest, what Mastantuono did for Madrid in 60 minutes than what 𝐻𝐿𝐴 did against Genoa. His goal was amazing, to be honest. So I was surprised to see that 𝐻𝐿𝐴 got a little bit forgotten. He's a great player. The only thing I expect is like that he demands the ball more often. No? But it's his personality. He's not very outspoken. He's a bit timid, quiet guy, but an amazing player. And actually, he was the young player of the month in the Serie A. He created chances, or 𝐿𝐴 created chances to score a second one, but they didn't take it. They were just minutes away from a very valuable win. But there is something that 𝐿𝐴 is carrying from last season. It is like once they score, they drop. They stop attacking. They don't go straight away for a second one. They stop taking the initiative, at least. They still have chances, but most of them are usually at the break. But I don't know why they keep doing that. And you could tell, if they don't score here, the opposition is going to have the chance and they're going to probably snatch a point. And that happened with Genoa. And after Juan Ramon saw a red card with 2 minutes to go, well, I think the 1-1 was on the cards. Yes, very young side still, and Fabregas keeps talking about that. But now with that Ramon red card, they're going to get a little bit more experience at the back. Diego Carlos, for sure, is going to make his debut in Firenze. Despite this, when you look at the form table of the last 11 matches in Serie A, so the last 8 games from last season, and you add the first 3 match days from the current one, and 𝐿𝐴 have amassed 23 points. Only Napoli, with 27, has more points than 𝐿𝐴 in the same run. Away from home last season, 𝐿𝐴 took 20 of their 29 points, and in Firenze they won. Actually, they won with a great 𝐻𝐿𝐴 goal as well. 𝗵𝗏𝗏 is winless so far. Yes, 𝘀𝗵𝗏𝗏 Pioni's side had to wait until the 80th minute to threaten Napoli last weekend. It was a poor display from Fiorentina. They started both half badly, and when Napoli went ahead 2-0 after 15 minutes, it's very difficult, or it was going to be very difficult for them to stay in the game. Pioli started with 𝐋𝐞𝐭 and 𝗲𝐿𝐴 𝐾𝐿 from the start. Then at the break, he put Roberto Piccoli. But the problem was behind them, Edu. Lack of creativity for Fiorentina. Another match with some parity for the bookies. Man might take here draw, no bet, 𝐿𝐴 1.95.
Next game is Inter Sassuolo. At least Inter got an important win in Amsterdam in the Champions League with a couple of headers from Thuram. Thuram scoring plenty of goals. If we want to talk about the positives, Leo, but of course, much more negatives for Inter in this start of the season. Defensive fragility. We had doubts about the market or the no market, basically, during the summer, only changing the manager. And they look way doomed compared to other seasons, compared to the team with Simone Inzaghi. Chibu needs to change many things. And now it's a must win, of course, against Sassuolo, a team that is going to fight against relegation. At least they got the first win coming back to Serie A with the victory against Lazio.
Yes, absolutely, Edu. And there are still questions to answer for 𝐻𝐿𝐴, even despite the 2-0 win in Amsterdam. It was good to see Thuram scoring and actually scoring a brace after the stupid or silly criticism he received because he was laughing with his brother, Ke from Thuram, after the Derby d'Italia. Lautaro Martinez did not play a single minute, but for sure he will start on Sunday. I'm actually super surprised, Edu, that Luis Enrique haven't played a single minute in Turin, haven't played a single minute in Amsterdam. Boni so far has been the option before Luis Enrique for 𝐻𝐿𝐴. Yes, of course, they got unlucky, as I said before, with that 𝐜𝐨𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐜 amazing goal, although you're saying, and it's true as well that Sommer helped a little bit that strike. But 𝐬𝐭 is not helping himself with some decisions. 𝐿𝐭𝐴kanji, who just arrived, plays from the start, but then he does not use a fresh midfielder. Susic had to wait 81 minutes to come on. This is, anyway, not a justification, as I said before, for some fans to criticize Thuram only for seeing laughing with his brother. And actually, when I remember, look, when the Milito brothers played against each other in Independiente Racing derby, they almost ended up fighting. They had to be separated because Diego asked the referee to show a red card to Gabi Milito after a foul. So completely the opposite of what we have seen in Turin.
Argentinian.
Some quarters, yes, but to be honest, he has to go on YouTube and watch it. So it's funny at the same time. You cannot believe Diego Milito asking for a red card for his brother. And some quarters in Italy are making some noise about 𝐬𝐭, 𝗀𝗏. Yes, the win in Amsterdam helped his case, but he cannot afford another setback at home, as with Udinese 2 weeks ago. Sassuolo, first win on Matchday 3, was a relief for them. Fabio Grosso, Nemanja Matic had a very good game, I would say, in midfield. Pinamonti and Domenico Berardi did well in attack. The last time Sassuolo visit Inter, they took the 3 points. That was a 2-1 win, and with Berardi scoring the winning goal. Something like that happening again on Sunday is paying 11-1. To be honest, I don't expect that, because it will be crisis for Inter if they do not win in San Siro against their own fans, and after winning in the Champions League. I expect goals here. I think Inter has the upper hand anyway. Inter to win, plus goals over 2.5, odds of 2.
Actually, in the head-to-head, in the last 8 years, 5 wins for Sassuolo, only 7 for Inter. And in the season that Sassuolo went down a couple of years ago, you mentioned it, they won in San Siro, but also they won in Emilia, in Reggio Emilia. So the last 2 games were won by the Neroverdi. So be careful, Inter. And for Monday, we have a good game on Monday at the Maradona, Napoli. Pisa. Napoli still have to make their debut in the Champions League. We are doing the video on Thursday, so we don't know what they are doing, but for sure we know that they are doing great things in Serie A. Leo, was the best game so far in the season. They won all 3 games, but in Florence, I think they went a couple of steps up. They were brilliant. They scored early, they kept going, created so many chances. It's fun to see De Bruyne enjoying life in the south of Europe. And Pisa, only 1 point. I think they are going to struggle a lot this season.
Yes, a lot, Eduardo. I agree. In Firenze, Napoli were superb. If Kevin De Bruyne is enjoying life in south of Italy, what to say about Rasmus Højlund? He was having a nightmare in Manchester, and he scored after only 14 minutes. It was a good move from the Danish because it wasn't easy maybe to read the pass from Spinazzola, then the defender closing in. So good for Højlund. This is the era of rotation for Napoli and Conte. They did not have that last season, but now they will have no choice. If Højlund starts again in Manchester against City, then it will be the chance probably again for Lorenzo Luca, who is still looking for his first goal since arriving from Udinese. We should expect probably Elmas or Billy Gilmour, or at least one of them to start as well against Pisa. Kevin De Bruyne is playing everything so far, and they will need to start managing his minutes. David Neres, who was a starter last season, now is usually coming from the bench. The challenge is that as well for Conte, to keep a bigger squad than last season, as happy as possible. To face Pisa at home anyway is a good platform for rotation. 1 point in the first 3 games for Pisa, all within of what we could have expected for them, to be honest. No value in Napoli to win, but good odds in Napoli to win 2-0 at 1.85, and that's my take, Edu.
Well, this is it for our Serie A show. Remember, guys, as always, you have the chance to post your tips in Oddspedia and participate in our tipster competitions with some cash money on stake. And also, we have rivals for you where you can create your own tipster competitions. Leo, let's finish the video as always. Safe bet.
Napoli to win 1.27.
And the ACCA?
ACCA Verona Juventus goals over 1.5. Inter Sassuolo goals over 2.75. Napoli to win 2-0. These three together also 4.46.
Let's try to nail an ACCA, Leo. Well, thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure, Leo. Bye-bye.